Good morning, everyone. My name is Mohamed, and today I'm going to start my final design presentation for Design Studio 5. Let me start up with a quick brief of our located site, which is Tanjung Tualan 55. It was the largest steel producer and supplied more than half of the world 14 until the mid of 1980. That's the look of the dredge, of the dredge. Um, there were hundreds of these legends in this site, but the Malaysian government decided to demolish all of them, and that's the only dredge remaining. I have chosen theme two, which is culture, infrastructure, and social culture. And it is to study the existing alteration and the cultural infrastructure that form the collage city of Tanjung Tualang. Jumping into my project one, I have decided to do like a timeline model to understand more about the social culture and to give a solution into like how to preserve this site in a right way. So that's the before mining living style, and then that's that during mining on the site, and then that's the living style during mining, and then lastly that's the current site plan. And then like I have added lights to raise up the awareness of the weakened past of Kinta Valley. That's how the model works. And then moving to my macro site analysis, I was really shocked for what happened to this amazing story of mining. Everything is demolished. Children are suffering. Adults are running outside of this town. So how to preserve this site, and how to make it active again, how to let the people visit this dredge again, that site. So right from studying this site, I have found that there is a very limited activities. Even for the children, they don't have any activities to do at all. Even their families, they stopped sending them to do to the schools over there because they see like it is useless. So what I'm proposing is something that's the main concept of my project is spreading the fun into the site and gather the villagers and the visitors from different cities. I have the many spaces inside my building. It is indoor living skills, outdoor living skill, and environmental education. So I am trying to connect all of these together again. I'm trying to get the tourists back to the site, and at the same time, I'm helping the Twalang villagers to have the, like a priority for them in the building. So let's have a look of that dredge. It is going to be converted into a funny active dredge, and then that's a conceptual of how the site is going to look like. It's like a full of energetic and joyful. Jumping into my some of my photo montage into inside the building, and then the design concept is providing a place for education, training, and having fun. I wanted to create a relationship between the visitors and the nature because, like I wanted to connect it from every area that passed through this site. At the beginning, it was like full of greenery around, and then the second thing they used the lakes for the mining. So, and then that third thing, which is I'm proposing, which is a communal hub. So I wanted, there are three main concepts that I wanted to do, which is education and training and having fun. So there are three things that I'm focusing on, which is mind, body, and soul. So what is mind? It is learning and understanding the history of TD5 in the classrooms I'm offering for the children, because if you have done this thing, it is an indirect way of preserving the dredge. So the body, it is giving for them a play and the emotion and the connection to the site, because that's the thing that is missing in Tanjung Tualang. It will help the community a lot. And then the soul is the mindfulness and the faith, hope, and giving them the awareness. So that's the design development. I started up with maximizing the views to the lake and the dredge, adjusting the building height to experience the different spaces inside the building, follow the same concept and the form of the dredge. So by connecting the building to the nature, I have decided to have the concept of the bamboo to cover up the building with the louvers that acts also at the sun shading, and then doing a usable green roof. So and skylight that shines the building that shines the whole building. Um, Having a look into some of the spaces inside the 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 building. Moving to the site plan, there are four different blocks into my in my building, and a continuous pedestrian walkway through the whole site. Um, Looking into my design, into my space planning, there are the entrance, and then the ticketing zone, and then the indoor indoor gaming area, and then the common area, and then you have the teenager gaming zone at the first floor. Then at the ground floor you have the classrooms and the souvenir shop, and then at the last thing you have the private playground for the kids. That's the ground floor plan, and the first floor plan. So that's the overlook of the perspective of the building. That's the design development of my building as well. So for the design development, I have for the future planning, I did like to decide to do like a residential and the community center, and that's around my building, so that it will cause an economic boost to the Twalang area, and then it will grab some more visitors, and then it will cause the population boost in Twalang. So that's I'll have a look of the spaces that I'm using, or how the proposal of the spaces. For the elevations, it is as you can see, the building it's full of the glass curtain wall to have the maximize the view of to the dredge, and the greenery roof that is used. At the background, you can see the first wheel and the dredge, and then under the going construction of the future planning. And then you can see from this section, I have done these ramps to connect all the building together. They follow the same concept at the dredge when I use the structure to go from a place to another inside the dredge itself. I have used the the ramps to go from a floor to another, and then to reach to the roof as well. So that's a partial section of my building. The conceptual section, as you can see, it is full of active playing zones, the ramps that connect all the building together, and the indoor classrooms, the indoor private playground, and then at the common area at the below, and then the um, arcade play zones. So that's one of my design realizations. So that's the building, and that's the food kiosks or the car and the carnival shops that is used to entertain the visitors that's coming, and then that's the interior one of the interior kid zone in the indoor common area, the building entrance, how it's gonna look like, the green roof, as you can see, these ramps that connects all the building together, and the private and the kids play zones. For this view, which is the bird's eye view, you can see the facade of the and how it is matching with the views of for the lake, and then the isometric view, you can see the ramps, how did it connects all the building together, as you can see for this part. Yeah, and then having a look on inside my common area and the green roof, how it is used, and the building, planting the trees around the skylight to give the shading into the building. And then that's some rendering, and then the rear view showing the greenery surrounding the building, which is one of the design main of my main concept. So now you have the greenery, you have the active site, you have the indoor classrooms that's helping the students in Tualang. Yeah. And then for the technical report, it showed my case study. I was impressed by the greenery around the building and how they are using. And then for the ramp, it takes you from the roof, and then the interior playing zones. That's called the Dalki Theme Park. It is located in Japan. And then that's a detailed section and the material, that's steel roof and the insulation and the steel beam that is used over there. So from every detail, that's detail from planter box, and then that's ISO details for the glass curtain wall, and then the concrete render finishes, and then for the ramps and for the steel structure that is used on tempered glass panels, joining the different blocks together. Um, and the staircase detail, the roof detail, porch section of the louver, and the ramp partial and section. And then in case of like the ventilation, it shows the natural and the mixed ventilations, the lift location, the lift section, fire staircase, fire entrance, fire exits, and then the parking access, the drop-off access, and the fire and the bomba access as well. So the fire door, I have located the fire doors, and then the exits, the fire door section view, and the detailed parking and the detailed drop-off showing the dimensions of the and the parking. Yeah, that's all. Thank you so much for listening.